welcome back. It's Professor M. And today, we're going to just think outside the box and use our imagination. So, today, what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to redesign a brand new system, a new system of living for a brand new world. Let's pretend that it's out there, or let's pretend that we can make one, a second system. Because we're not currently in this system, which is based on capitalism. But what we can do is create a new system where Earth works with us. So this way, we have a Earth that is abundant, and we have an Earth that we're all working together. And together, we can make everything possible. Because I have a saying, every dream is possible. In this world, I want to have this big phrase, big saying, that every dream is possible. But what does that mean? How do we create a brand new world, or one where we can make every person's dream a reality? Well, guess what? We got to use our imagination, right? So let's solve those problems. Because right now, the two biggest things that we have in this country, and this world actually, are high housing costs, high food costs, and they both have two common denominators: access to land and water. But just like here in Vegas, what's keeping the housing costs high, and what's keeping everything costs high is water. Because without water, it doesn't matter how much land you have, you can't really do anything without water, because water is life, right? Since we know that water is the biggest common denominator that we don't have, at least, what we know is this. Let's look at the facts. Water is actually 71% salt water on planet Earth, okay? 22% of it is fresh water, and 27% is ground and living water. Living water would be living beings and plants and animals. And that's pretty much almost the water that we have now. But what we can't say is that we don't have any fresh water. Whoa. Problem is, that fresh water, 2%, is all in lakes and streams. We need more of it. In order to actually make this planet abundant, we need to actually take some of that from the salt water, from the oceans. So what we can do is we need that water, right? So, desalination plants. If you don't know what those are actually big factories that are actually right next to the ocean. They actually extract salt water by filtering it through sediment and rocks and extracting fresh water from that salt. Easy enough, right? And all you do is just filter it, with reverse osmosis and all that other jazz. But once you do that, you have fresh drinking water that you can actually use that water to help replant and reforest whole new planets, the whole Earth. We can totally do that. And guess what? We can do it by only taking 5% of that salt water. 5%. But guess what? The rising tides are rising, especially with climate change. We're just balancing everything out. And anyway, with all that water, we can reforest the whole planet. We can actually create new cities around the entire world. And that means we won't ever have to be stuck in big cities ever again. And that means that capitalism will control us. But we will have a brand new way of living, a new system where we can all be more connected to the Earth. We have all this land and all this water flowing through the rest of the country. What can we do with it? I'll tell you what. We can create new ways of living. Not just community-based living, but also we can create new schools where kids and even adults can learn new things. Not just trade school, but school for everything. To learn every single skill that you've ever wanted to learn. To make everything possible. But that also means we're going to create new technology. And also, we're going to do the one thing that we need right now, which is create thousands upon thousands of jobs. Because this whole thing is going to require a lot of money, but it's going to require a lot of energy and people behind it. And all the jobs we're going to create, it's going to be hilarious. But we need people behind it. So, what I want you to do now is like this video, share it. Because once you do, we can get the momentum going. Because once we know that this is the plan, we can send it and the rest of the world will follow suit. And once that happens, the whole world is going to love it. So, do that now. Like it, share it, and please subscribe. Thanks. Bye. So, what do we do once we have all that water? But first, I suggest we make those desalination plants on both coasts, east and west, on at least the United States at least. Then we can expand the same idea to every other continent and every other country around the whole world, where we can actually give every single place fresh water. But that means what we can do with that water. Well, guess what? In the United States, we actually have about 70% open land where no one lives. Sure, there's some cow grazing and stuff like that, but what can we do with it? What we can do is actually create new cities. But that means we can create new cities in the middle of nowhere. But we got water now. That means people can live there. We can excavate it. And then guess what? That means new community-based living. That means being able to live on the land. Being able to live with your neighbors, growing your own food, being connected to everyone. But that means being connected to the Earth again.